up, we meet a single dad in Taiwan who enjoys serving others in Tzu Chi as well at his job. In Malaysia, TIMA members hosted an event and invited local doctors to get to know the association better. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the aftermath of the April earthquake in Nepal, Tzu Chi volunteers visited the residents of the Great Love villages in Makwanpor. During this visit, Tzu Chi volunteers came across a 16-year-old girl, Kriti, who had dropped out of school because of poverty. To help Kriti continue her education, Tzu Chi volunteers provided her with tuition aid and recently accompanied the girl to her new school.
Tzu Chi volunteers came to visit Kriti, who has moved to her uncle's place in Kathmandu since she received tuition aid from Tzu Chi.
I'm very happy and I think myself I'm very lucky girl.
Next time when you graduated, you can join Tzu Chi and become social worker.
Besides visiting her, Tzu Chi volunteers plan to accompany Kriti to her new school, Lumbini Academic College. This is Kriti's first class.
Yeah, I have first time gone here and I'm quite nervous because I haven't seen them and I've seen first time to them. Teacher also, and its teaching style also new. And first time I have saw this, so I quite afraid.
Tzu Chi volunteers encouraged Kriti to overcome her fear and visited the school principal with her, doing all they can to help the young girl to continue her pursuit of an education.
Nantou Tzu Chi volunteer Lan Songwen is 64 this year. For many years, Lan's wife was sick, during which he continued to almost single-handedly raise his two daughters. When his wife passed away 9 years ago, Lan first met Tzu Chi. Now the senior is a full-time volunteer that divides his time between his two daughters, his job, and the local Tzu Chi liaison office. Driving the recycling truck is Tzu Chi volunteer Lan Songwen, who, aside from his job in interior design, spends the rest of his time doing Tzu Chi.
Many of the older bodhisattvas are not afraid of picking up these recyclables. Seeing that, I decided to help by driving them. He is really amazing. He has responsibilities at home. He is a single dad, but has still managed to raise his children wonderfully. Despite this, he is also at the liaison office almost full-time. In fact, he reports in every day.
With the work finished, Lan comes home to his two daughters and granddaughter. Together, the family gets ready to eat lunch.
When my wife was feeling ill or if she was busy, I would then help cook our meals. It wasn't anything special, just some simple dishes.
For Lan, doing household chores comes naturally. As for the years his wife was sick, it was Lan who took care of making meals, doing laundry, and raising their two children.
He has always been like a mother as well as a father. We often try to get him to slow down and rest if he's not feeling well. We tell him we can help.
I want to thank him for always being there for our family. His effort on our behalf has been easy to see. It's really moving.
9 years ago, Lan's wife passed away. When Tzu Chi volunteers came to chant sutra on her behalf, this was Lan's first introduction to Tzu Chi. Later, he would become a full-time volunteer.
Being a part of Tzu Chi gives me the opportunity to care for many people.
Single-handedly raising two daughters and running a household, Lan also finds time to do Tzu Chi in addition to his job as an interior decorator. Despite the heavy load he carries, Lan feels only gratitude for the chance he has been given to serve others on behalf of others. It is every parent's hope that their children receive the best education possible. However, some of life's most important lessons are in fact learned outside of the classroom. Next, we meet a mother and daughter pair who give up their weekends to volunteer. Not only have the two grown closer together, they have learned some invaluable life lessons.
Come the weekend, Pong Pong's mother brings her to the local Jingsi Books and Cafe to volunteer. Donning her work apron, Pong Pong is ready to begin her work for the day. Pong Pong started volunteering at the bookstore when she was a kindergartner. Her affinity with Tzu Chi actually started from a special encounter.
Pong Pong wanted to attend the parent-child tea class with her dad, so I thought I'd sign them up for the class, but actually I went to the wrong place. I went to the Jingsi Books and Cafe instead.
Since volunteering at the cafe, Pong Pong has learned to give more freely and further nurture a heart of appreciation for the small things that often go unnoticed in life. Whether at school or at the cafe, the young girl always volunteers to clean the toilets.
What she said made a deep impression on me. I asked her why she would enjoy cleaning the toilets. Is she not afraid of getting her hands dirty? My daughter told me it never bothered her at all. In fact, it only made her appreciate and respect the janitors more for their hard work.
While Pong Pong is helping out around the store, her mother, Hong Cui Ling, keeps herself occupied with the book as she waits for her daughter. Seeing how her daughter has transformed over the years, Hong also reminds herself to set a good example at all times.
When doing any task, have the innocence of a child, the endurance of a camel, and the courage of a lion. We should be mindful not to exert too much authority over our children. Sometimes we forget, and we too make mistakes, so we need to constantly remind ourselves to set a good example for our children. How will children know right from wrong if we don't set a good example for them?
Seeing other children in need of assistance, Hong is always ready to reach out with a helping hand, as she believes the seeds of kindness she plants today will one day blossom in the hearts of those she touches.
When I see other children in need of assistance, if they're willing to accept help, I will help them. When you extend kindness to them, you're also planting a seed in their hearts. And one day, these seeds will blossom and flourish. To commemorate Father's Day, which falls on August 8th in Taiwan, about 1,400 young volunteers of the Jingsi Books and Cafe throughout the country will begin presenting a musical adaptation of a Tzu Chi performance. In preparation for the performances, young volunteers in Xinzhuang and Taishan districts of New Taipei City join classes to broaden their scope and nurture their compassion. He was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
6-year-old Huang Ziqian has a hyperactivity disorder, and therefore his parents are worried about his taking part in the musical adaptation.
He cannot sit still for a long time, but when he participated in the musical adaptation for the second time this year, he was able to gradually calm down.
The young volunteers at the Jingsi Books and Cafe in Xinzhuang and Taishan districts of New Taipei City not only practice sign language songs, but also learn about current events.
The burn victims in the Body Water Park explosion were left seriously injured, with more than 200 of them still in critical condition.
The burn victims have it bad, so I want to support them.
In this class, the young volunteers also learned about stem cell donations. By teaching these children to feel for the needy, Tzu Chi volunteers are nourishing the seeds of love in their young minds.
Staying in Taiwan,双溪Elementary School in Taipei has been renting a rice paddy from a local farmer for 3 years now to teach their students lessons on farming. Recently, in spite of the heat, over 200 parents, teachers, and students took part in the rice harvesting and experienced the joy of farming.
Under the scorching sun, children and adults roll up their pant legs to experience a bit of farming. Stepping into the rice paddy, the children's feet sank deep into the mud. It turns out harvesting rice is not that easy after all.
很像泥巴路，我觉得很像我的脚快要粘在上面。
你喜欢这种感觉？
喜欢。
为什么？
因为可以享受大自然。
那会不会觉得农夫很辛苦？
会。
怎么说辛苦？
每天要待在大太阳底下。
While parents were busy harvesting the rice, children collected the crop and took part in husking the rice.
轻轻地放到机器里面去，然后手转，手不要松开，这是很旧。
This is an old husking machine. We turned 20 to 30-year-old desks and chairs into a husking machine. It is based on a traditional method of husking rice.
我们是从育苗开始。
We started with seeding. Later, the students came together to plant the rice seedlings and remove the weeds. All the students participated in the process.
Children in Taipei are too clean, so they should experience getting dirty.
Taking part in every step, the children are left with delicious rice to eat and a feeling of fulfillment.
Recently, a group of culinary students from the Sisters of Mary Girls Town School visited the Jingsi Hall in Quezon City of the Philippines. During the students' visit, Tzu Chi volunteers demonstrated a few vegetarian dishes for the girls to learn. This isn't the first time these girls are learning how to cook. However, learning how to cook vegetarian dishes from the Tzu Chi volunteers was really enlightening.
We all enjoyed this experience. While I was watching the volunteers cook, I remembered I have a lot of papaya at home, so I can definitely try cooking this dish. Today, culinary students from the Sisters of Mary Girls Town School learned how to transform vegetables into delicious dishes.
Sa kanilang culinary shop, lagi po main dish namin mga red meats, mga poultries.
In our culinary lessons, we usually cook red meat and chicken only, so it's not very healthy. But now we have learned different dishes made from vegetables. This is very helpful for the students, as these dishes are something they can try at home.
The students not only learned how to make meatless dishes, but also learned about protecting the environment.
Most of us just eat meat and disregard vegetables. But today, I learned that nothing should be wasted. I found that cooking vegetables only can also be delicious as well, and at the same time be helpful towards the environment.
This field trip to the Jingsi Hall enriched the lives of the students, teachers, and nuns of this Catholic school, as everyone walked away better informed of Buddhism and its values, and also with an interest in vegetarianism. One problem facing Taiwan's colleges and universities is the unbalanced distribution of government funding to help subsidize these schools. Though private schools take on 70% of the students attending college, they receive 13 times less funding compared to their public counterparts. Here's more in our reports.
它原本就长这样，对，然后可以把它加工成这样，就觉得说，这样加工的过程中其实蛮有成就感的。
It takes special training to operate a 5-axis CNC machine. And this 3D printer from Germany can help manufacture vital machine parts. Colleges of technology focus on providing practical training so that their students may start working immediately upon graduation. In Taiwan, however, due to changes in the evaluation process, even these colleges have shifted their focus to publishing research papers.
当时就是教育部在评断一个学校
When the Ministry of Education was establishing a new set of criteria so that vocational high schools could become technical colleges, one of the conditions was the number of assistant professors had to be raised to a certain level. To meet such a condition, many vocational high schools began hiring professors who had retired from regular universities.
一些普通大学退休的一些老师进到这个技职体系来哈。
As instructors in these colleges began to focus their attention on publishing research papers, the schools began to lose their uniqueness and became no different from just another university. The rapid expansion of these schools has also led to the closing of many higher education centers. In 1997, some 800,000 students attended colleges of technology. On average, each school had about 5,800 students. But by 2014, even though 20 new colleges were added, due to an increase in the number of students, each school had about 6,500 students. As acceptance rates are not regulated, each school wants to draw in as many students as it can. This is especially true for private schools, as tuition is their main source of income. According to the 2014 budget of the Ministry of Education, public colleges and universities received $1.3 billion in funding, while their private counterparts only received $0.22 billion. Yet, 70% of college students attend these private schools, and thus each student in private schools get only $225 in public funding, while those in public schools get a whopping $2,900.
As
birth rate declines, private schools are facing a lot of financial troubles. We can't solve the problem as a free market would, as we have to abide by the government's regulations. We just can't raise tuition freely or add more departments.
The
ministry is working on increasing tuition to a proper level. However, many students object to the idea and have formed the so-called anti-commercialization of education union. They claim that a proper education is the responsibility of the government and that tuition cannot be raised.
If private schools do not get enough students, they will be underfunded. In the end, it will be the students who are attending these schools that suffer the consequences.
At the end of July, TIMA members in Malaysia hosted a get-together and invited local doctors to join them as they shared their international medical outreach experiences. Not only were participants moved by TIMA's efforts around the world, many also look forward to joining the annual TIMA convention set to take place in Taiwan this September.
Due to their busy schedules, it's never easy to get all TIMA members together. Hence, making the most out of this rare opportunity, members talked about their most recent international medical outreach in Myanmar.
Happy that I have done something for the people there because some of them have been suffering from the pain for about 2 years and they don't have money to go for dental treatment. Dental treatment is very expensive.
At this tea gathering, members shared how joining TIMA has transformed their lives and the rewards which have come through serving others.
When you are giving back to the society without monetary reward, that gives a separate satisfaction, and that is one of the reasons why usually people want to come to the medical profession.
Attendees included medical professionals of various religious and ethnic backgrounds, but they all shared a common purpose, a sense of mission to relieve pain and suffering around the world.
Efforts that Tzu Chi does around the world is very impressive, and I hope this never stops.
And that I cannot buy through money, that I can only buy or I can only take from people's heart with love.
Knowing that the annual TIMA convention will convene in Taiwan in September, participants look forward to learning more about Tzu Chi's medical culture that is rooted in the human values of love and compassion.
It has been over a month since the terrible Body Water Park explosion, and most of the burned patients caught in the blast have stabilized. However, at this stage of their recovery, a special type of doctor is needed. We now find out what kind of specialist they need with a visit to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital.
打开冷冻库，哇，把我们的双手放进去了，那感觉凉凉的感觉。
Due to post-traumatic stress disorder or the side effects of their medication, burn victims might have hallucinations or flashbacks. At times like these, psychiatrists play a vital role.
Though it is only a hallucination, the sensation is very real to them, so we need to battle such illusions by having them imagine themselves in a completely different surrounding, so they will not think about their injuries.
As burn patients stabilize and regain consciousness, they may have trouble coping with their scars, limited mobility, or even possible amputations. The sudden changes might cause them to lose confidence, and thus psychiatrists work to help patients learn to accept their new reality.
Actually, each patient has their own distinct set of problems. All we can do is be at their side and let them know that they are not alone. That, even at a time like this, there are people who care for them. Things that they might have trouble telling their families, they will perhaps confide in us as we help them learn to trust us.
For severely burned patients, such as those from the Bali water park explosion, they face a series of painful rehabilitations and surgeries. On their road to recovery, even then, they might be so devastated by what has happened that they will choose to shut the world out. So in order for these patients to fully recover, psychiatrists are a key component.
In Taiwan, the Taichung, Zhanghua, and Nantou regions alone need an average of 1,300 bags of blood daily. Summer typically sees a spike in the need for blood as well as a decrease in blood donations. To help get more people to donate during this time, 2 local companies are giving away 1,000 NT dollars to various charities, including the newly planned Taichung Burn Center, for every bag of blood donated. Giving blood can save lives, and today it can also help fund worthy NGOs and charities, as 2 companies here in Taichung are donating 1,000 NT dollars for every bag of blood donated.
Out of that 1,000 NT dollars, 650 will be going to the new burn center. 150 goes to the Taiwan Action Buddha Society. 100 goes to Taichung's Lifeline, and 100 goes to the Tree Conservation Society. The more people that give blood, the more we will donate. Following the Bali Water Park tragedy, Taichung City is collecting donations for a new city burn center. Thus, for those giving blood today, their actions have doubled the meaning. Originally, I just came to donate blood, as it is something that I do regularly. Their donation of 1,000 NT dollars can help a lot of people. In addition to private companies, government organizations were also doing their share. Today we can help more people in need. This is one of our founding missions. Today's blood drive is especially important as Typhoon Sadalor approaches. As the typhoon hits, we will have a period of several days when people will be unable to donate. This will put a strain on our reserves. So we hope everyone can come and donate before the typhoon. Altogether, the blood drive collected over 1,000 bags of blood, and a total of 1 million NT dollars was donated on behalf of the city's new burn center and other NGOs. In Tainan, Taiwan, during the first study session for Tzu Chi's honorary board member in the area, a volunteer from Kaohsiung was invited to share his life story, which made many in the audience realize that besides earning money, they too had the ability to inspire others. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.